Welcome to Boxing Brothers Online Coaching. We offer customized programming to anybody seeking guidance in their journey to becoming a better boxer. Our programs are personalized to each individual, accommodating for all circumstances and levels of experience. We consider your flaws, goals, injuries, equipment access, and every other major factor of importance when it comes to ongoing boxing development. Our analytical feedback system allows us to provide precise, specific, and productive coaching to anyone, anywhere, offering a unique and extremely tailored coaching service for those looking to get fit, stay fit, and continuously improve their boxing. Take part in our 14-day free trial to see what we're all about and experience tailored online coaching like never before. Hit the link in the description or visit us at boxingbrothers.com to better your boxing and join the brotherhood today. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Training Chat. Today I just wanted to discuss a topic of discussion that is always very argumentative amongst people. There's a lot of conflicting opinions regarding the matter, and that is, does a good boxer make a good coach? Is it necessarily valuable that somebody that's teaching someone else how to do something particular, do they need to have had done it and done a really good job at having done that thing to be of value in transferring that knowledge to other people? It most certainly does play a significant role when it comes to teaching others. I think it is only going to be an asset to a coach if they have experienced whatever particular thing it is that they are teaching themselves. However, over the years, it's been proven time and time again that it isn't entirely the person's experiences and how much they've achieved in that area of their lives personally that is going to define their ability to be able to transfer that knowledge to other people. So oftentimes I even get asked, as a coach, how many fights did you have? And I have no shame in saying that I only had 5 fights. Reason why I had 5 fights is in my final fight, I tore my ACL, and then post-surgery never really recovered back to full health, having other health complications. And as one thing led to another over the years, I just never got back into the swing of competition boxing. So unfortunately, my career was cut short, and that's why I gravitated to coaching. And I think that's why a lot of coaches that do a good job with coaching and haven't had extensive careers in boxing are so passionate about coaching, because they weren't able to have extensive boxing careers for whatever personal reasons, and the reasons are vast, and they are able to vicariously continue their careers through their students. Furthermore, having the capacity to teach others isn't entirely relied upon your experiences in the past, because the ability to teach and transfer knowledge is something in and of its own completely in separation to your personal experiences in that field. And especially when years past, in your youth, when you are the student and you're the one absorbing that knowledge and performing, in comparison to as you're getting older, having the ability to transfer that knowledge, they're two completely different ball games. In fact, my coach that took me through my fights and developed me was and is one of the best teachers, and if not the best teacher I have had in my life, period. Not just in boxing, but in a lot of aspects of life. And he too did not have an extensive boxing career, but his ability to connect with people, his discernment, his eye for the sport, his ability to analyze, his ability to connect with myself on a personal level and really get into the mind of a boxer was absolutely second to none, irrespective to his lack of boxing experience. And a fight record doesn't really say much at all. People have been around gyms for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, sparring and have had so much experience in the ring, but just haven't competed, and their record doesn't really, isn't very elaborate, and it isn't necessarily a reflection on their experiences as a boxer and their expertise on boxing. And we can take this all the way to the very top. You know, Eddie Futch, for example, he trained, Joe Fraser, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, Trevor Burbick. He only had 37 amateur fights. That's not a lot. He didn't even go pro. He had 37 amateurs. Angelo Dundee trained Muhammad Ali for, almost 20 years or whatever it was, and Sugar Ray Leonard and George Foreman. He didn't fight at all. Angelo Dundee never fought. He just watched other coaches coach and learned about the intricacies of the sport and actually learned how to coach rather than learning how to box, because that's the importance of their responsibility. Cus D'Amato, Mike Tyson's coach, he was the be-all and end-all of boxing coaches for his time, and even now his name still echoes in the halls of fame. He had one fight, and nobody has ever questioned these coaches because of their ability to coach, So I'm not scrubbing the fact that, and then we can talk vice versa. So I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. Vice versa, I know so many boxers that have had extensive boxing careers and cannot coach if their life depended on it. I know so many fighters that were fantastic fighters, amateurs, pros, etc., and they have, first of all, no interest, because that's the first and foremost important factor that needs to be considered when it comes to coaching. You need to be interested. If you do not have an invested interest and passion for developing a boxer, then you shouldn't be doing it. And the simple fact of having had experience as a boxer yourself does not justify or give you the credentials to be able to coach. Okay, it can definitely be an asset, and oftentimes coaches are very experienced and have had a lot of fights and a lot of experience. But if it was the case that every good coach has had lots of fights, then there'd be a lot more coaches, and there isn't. There just isn't. And oftentimes you'll find that good coaches haven't had extensive careers and they produce champions. I mean, probably, a large portion of coaches guide boxers to achieve things greater than that which they have achieved. So, if a coach that's had 10, 15 fights ends up coaching a lad that ends up having 50, 60 fights and turns him into a state champion, national champion, international champion, and potentially world champion, and that coach never actually achieved that themselves, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because they have the ability to communicate knowledge over to somebody else and develop them as a boxer. So, yeah, try not to always, allow the misconception of coaches having lots of experience, is going to always equal the receiving of quality coaching, because it is not always the case. A coach has to have the ability, has to have compassion, patience, understanding, versatility. Can't be either egotistical and making it about themselves. That's another thing that really experienced coaches have. They make the coaching about themselves and not the boxer. Oftentimes a coach that has done less will be humble in their ways. They need to be able to communicate knowledge and teach. Teaching is an art of its own and is the first and foremost important component when it comes to coaching someone. So if you have a coach and, or you've had a coach and you've asked them how many fights they have had and it isn't entertaining to your ears, don't be discouraged, because it's not always the case that they have less to offer you. In fact, they very well may have more.